If you are watching the day this video is uploaded, then happy Valentine's Day! I assume you, like me, have no better way to spend the Friday evening than come join me as I talk about all the reads I have read so far in my 14 Reads to Love challenge for the month of February. Oh, it's a mouthful. But yeah, I have finished halfway through. I did tackle the ones that I only plan to read a couple volumes of just because I'm hoping to have more time in the second half of February to get through some series that I want to get through. Let's just get started and go through what I read for which prompt. And I'm going to start with the one that I will be sadly unhauling, just to get that one out of the way, the one like negative one, I guess. And I read this for my pink cover prompt for the challenge, and that is Otonari Complex. There's nothing inherently bad about this one. I think for me personally, like the biggest thing I could say was it didn't excite me. It bored me. I just felt uninterested in this potential blossoming romance. And there was no chemistry that I felt between these childhood friends. I just, I thought that when the female protagonist Akira gets like this seeming date or guy that seems like he's interested in her, even though I did suspect he had ulterior motives. I did think that would be the catalyst for our other protagonist, Makoto, to realize his feelings, but no, then we are informed that he has already been harboring said feelings. And I'm like, bitch, where? Literally, I feel like they are just friends. Like, we do not need to force a romance. They can just be friends. But no, it's definitely forcing the romance aspect, and I'm just not here for it. I liked that Makoto cross-dresses and feels comfortable cross-dressing, and I like that Akira supports this and just thinks Makoto is Makoto no matter what he wears. Fair enough. Love it. Lovely message. Other than that, and again, you can be supportive as a friend. Like, Akira does not have any feelings, in my opinion, towards Makoto. So I don't know how she's going to get any feelings towards him. And like I said, they reveal to us that he has feelings for her. But other than them spending a lot of time together, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel any attraction. I didn't feel any chemistry. So why would I continue reading this? It looks to be a shorter series, complete at 5 volumes from what I found online. So that made me waffle back and forth and be like, oh, well, it's only 5 volumes. I could complete it, you know. But no, I'm trying to be better. And if I really just don't feel like I'm falling in love with the characters and the romance, which is, you know, central in the romance series, why would I complete it just because it's short? So I am unhauling this one. It's just not for me. Like I said, nothing is bad about it. It's just, to me, mediocre. It's an okay read. And I have a lot of romances, some of which I started this very month for this very challenge that I fell head over heels in love with. So yeah, why am I wasting my time? So sorry, not sorry. This is a nope for me. So no matter how confident I sounded about not going to continue this last one, I am less confident about this one. I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge. And I am using the justification of it's possibly only 4 volumes long. So it sounds a little hypocritical. I do recognize that, but there are a few reasons why I am, not just because it's 4 volumes long, possibly, but I'll get to that. Anyway, next up for the prompt, romance featuring adults. I read volume 2 Friday at the Atelier. So I couldn't corroborate that this series does in fact end at 4 volumes. Only one source I found said it did, that it was completed at 4 volumes. The rest said it was ongoing. So I think I'm putting this one on a pause. I'm going to wait for volumes 3 and volumes 4 theoretically to come out, see if the 4th volume is indeed the last volume, and probably collect it if I feel inclined to at that point. But it's not just because it theoretically is a short series that I will want to possibly finish collecting this one. It's also because I do think there's something distinct about this series. Though it is not my favorite series, and I was hoping volume 2 would just make me fall madly in love with these characters, it sadly did not. However, I do think it has some good things going for it that puts it like above our last entry. I think its art is really distinct. It's really pretty. The artist, as one of our protagonists, is a pretty well-known artist, and his process and all the collab between him and his muse, so to speak, I like that. I really do. So there's something that I do enjoy from this series. It's just sadly not the romance. Again, I am feeling very little chemistry here. I think she's oblivious. He definitely has feelings, and I at least can see that, and I can feel that, and he's awkward about it, but it's cute. It's just like, it's not really going anywhere. We're 2 volumes in now, and I don't know. I think it's cuter when they lean into more of a comedy aspect with him, her, and his like agent manager person. It's just, the romance isn't working for me at this point in time. But like I said, there are things I really do love about this one, like the art, the direction of the series when it is talking about art, and it has a distinct and interesting atmosphere, which I enjoy. It just stands out to me from other romances. And I know I'm kind of like being harsh, like I don't really like feel any romantic tension or romantic buildup here. It's kind of just one-sided puppy love at this point, but I don't hate that. I think he's pretty cute and endearing, and so I'm rooting for them. I just don't care at the end of the day. It's sad to say, but that's why I think if this is a short series that I don't need to spend a lot of money collecting, and that hopefully would mean the romance of this one gets wrapped up in 4 volumes and doesn't drag on and on and on, then I definitely would be more tempted to complete this one because of the positive things that I do like about it. So yeah, that's where I am with this one. I'm not in love, sadly, even 2 volumes deep, but I really enjoy the different atmosphere and artistic flair that this one has. So that's why I'm on the fence. But yeah, let me know your feelings on this one if you've also read it, because I have not seen a lot of people reading it, so I'm very curious. Let's get more positive up in here with some of the first volumes I read for these prompts that I absolutely loved and absolutely will continue reading. First up, for my very first prompt, rom-com, I read the new to me rom-com Nakamura the Uninvited Gyaru. So I have a love-hate Gyaru situationship. I really do like specific Gyaru romances. It's just that I'm wary, I'm afraid to pick it up. But since I got my friend into Galgahan, which is like my #1 gal featured gal-centric, I guess, romance, he picked up this one and told me, you will probably like this one. And I did. I really did. because Nakamura-san is the kind of gal or gyaru that I like, where she is seemingly confident, extroverted, very, you know, sure of herself and her body and not afraid to flaunt it in certain regards, but inside is very unsure of herself and is very conflicted and shy, even a little innocent. And I just think that like that balance between those two things is just so cute to me. It's so cute. You see her secret side and her more like trying to be charming and flirtatious, but like really awkward about it. And I love that. It's so cute. So I also love the trope opposites attract, and this is very much giving it, though they have these cute things in common, like being a little bit otaku about certain things. In Nakamura's case, it is about her childhood anime, magical girl anime that she just super loves, and so she like reveals these like little secret sides to her, to Akiyama, as she bulldozes this shy, quiet guy over and invites herself to stay at his place because she needs somewhere to stay. And it's a little much, but it's also just super endearing and charming the way she goes about it. And he's also very sweet and one of those guys that you like see as non-threatening, but like he also like, you know, trying not to be a creeper. But inevitably things are always happening. And you know, it's a little ecchi, a little perverted rom-com read, I will say that, you know. But I don't think there's anything bad about that. They're both consenting adults and she's interested in him, we know, so it's only a matter of time, I suspect, until he also falls for her, because like, come on, she's so cute. But yeah, this is definitely a odd couple rom-com. Following that up, I had one first volume I wanted to read for my Kodansha title prompt. However, I ended up finding another Kodansha title at the manga store, and I couldn't resist reading both of them for the challenge. So I'm going to go with the one that I said I was going to read first, and that is Sheltering Eaves. Once I found out that this was by the same mangaka as Perfect World, way up there, one of my top tier favorite romance manga of the entire romance manga that I've read so far. It has such a distinguished honor. But once I found out it was the same mangaka, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to jump on this. I need to buy this. And now I need to buy volume 2. I am still behind. But yeah, it hits a lot of the same emotional beats, I would say, as Perfect World. If you want a more dramatic romance, then these are for you. It's not rom-com central up in here, that's for sure. And just like with Perfect World, where she tackles disability as a major focal point in the romance, in this series she's tackling, how do I say this? She's tackling childhood neglect, traumas, some serious topics yet again, which, like I said, makes for a more dramatic romance. And we see our female protagonist starts us off in the beginning at the age of 10 being sent to this group home after being treated poorly, we'll say, by her mother. And it is here that Yoru, our female protagonist, meets Tenjaku, our male protagonist, and they become like this, like super close. Yoru like depends on Tenjaku a little too much maybe, but you understand that like he is her support system and what she kind of ends up clinging to now that she is in this unfamiliar situation, this unfamiliar place, and dealing with all of these complex emotions. And obviously we get snippets that Tenjaku himself is dealing with a lot of terrible trauma and emotions and stuff as well. And I think it's handled really well about both of them. And it's interesting to see how dependent Yoru is, but Tenjaku seems to be like keeping her like a little like space between them. So I'm curious how it's gonna go because, you know, it's a romance at the end of the day, right? So we'll see. And at the end of this first volume, we have settled into them being high schoolers, and they have a very real time limit, and that is weighing on them because apparently these group homes they had, it does say in the manga that that has changed in current years. I'm not exactly sure when, but when this manga is set anyway, there is a age limit. So at 18, they are essentially kicked out of their quote unquote home. So it's very sad, and you can see that like Yoru is having a much harder time grappling with this, and Tenjaku is more like, I just need to save up money, I just need to graduate and get a job. And you know, like he's really focused on the future, where Yoru is more hesitant and anxious about it. So yeah, I think this mangaka, to me, like with so many that I love when it comes to romance, really gets at those emotional cores of people and really just writes amazingly fleshed out characters. Like, these are characters I can bite into, you know, like these are characters that I could see being, you know, just walking down the street. They come to life and I understand their feelings, anxieties. It's all so like human. Like, I hate to say that because like obviously, but like, you know, it just feels very realistic, this portrayal of these characters and their lives. And yeah, like I said, darker for sure, always a little darker and a little dramatic, more dramatic in this mangaka's works, but I think it's done in a way that's not without care and not without like good qualities to keep you rooting for our main characters. Anyway, this first volume, it did not disappoint. Obviously, I've been talking about it way too long as it is. So moving on to my second Kodansha entry, and that is Love, That's an Understatement. So I was hesitant to pick this one up. I am picky about my romance. Like, I feel sometimes like, oh my god, I just love romance so much, and then I'll read some and I'm like, yeah, no, not for me. So this was a limited printing by Kodansha. I really hope they print some more because I want more people to read this one. I do think it's worth printing and worth reading, and I hope I don't have to read the rest digitally because I will be bummed. I'm not a huge digital reader, as you could tell, the giant collection. But yeah, and then after I got it, I did find out that this rom-com is from the author of Lovesick Ellie, which I also enjoyed. I haven't finished it. I know it's complete, and I have still only read one volume, but that one volume I read last February left a really good impression on me. And you know, even though I don't really remember, it's kind of like, I just remember it was cute and I liked it. Like, it's not stand out in any way, but that doesn't matter if you just enjoy it, you know? And that's the same with this one. It's not dramatic like our last entry. It is very much more rom-com, more cutesy, more studious, quiet, kind of cold girl meets and actually helps a injured delinquent boy who, you know, is a little free-spirited, a little wild, but with a heart of gold. But if it works, it works. Like, I would say this is exactly, almost exactly the same setup as My Little Monster. And I did not like My Little Monster's first volume. I do want to read on and see if I enjoy it as it goes. But the first volume, it was such a turnoff, the way the male protagonist acted towards the female protagonist. And yet this one, beat for beat, almost does the exact same things. Even though I'm not a huge fan, kisses her out of the blue. And usually that turns me the fuck off. But the way it's done, the way he like acknowledges he like shouldn't have done that, it was in the moment or whatever, and what she does by the end of this volume, I just thought it made it forgivable to me. I thought, he's gonna do the thing, they're gonna do the thing. I just know, you know, there was that tension, there was that buildup. I could feel it coming. And though I was disappointed that they did play into it and they did do the, you know, forced kiss situation, which so many rom-coms do, I was not disappointed by the way that it was done, if that makes sense. I thought, oh my gosh, that was silly and that was awkward, but cute, you know? And I'm not saying it's okay to kiss people without their consent. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't still be like putting that in books like it's okay. Hey kids, like that's fine if he kisses you without consent, because I don't want that to be a message. However, sometimes they just have the chemistry that I was sorely lacking in the first two entries. They have the chemistry to really make you go, oh, who cares? I'm rooting for these crazy kids. They are kind of opposites attract again, with Zen being more feeling like a more follow your heart kind of guy, and she's more like calculated and stubborn, set in her ways, doesn't want this interruption, which is Zen. He is an interruption in her life, essentially. But yeah, the art's pretty, and the characters, they just click and they're cute. I don't know. I understand if you don't want to pick it up because of that. And again, I know it's like kind of hard to pick it up right now unless Kodansha gives it another re-release, another printing on demand. And I really, really hope they print volume 2, like I said. Yeah, when it's done well, when the cliches are done well and the romance is like jumping off the pages at you, then that's good shit. At least to me. Next prompt I read, well, it was partially a reread. I decided to start The Dangers in My Heart over again for the prompt cute couple, because these two are so cute. And so I gifted volume 1 to my friend for Christmas, and he got into it and he was sending me pictures of them being cute, and I knew I had this challenge coming up in February, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna freaking reread it. And I was pretty sure that I actually hadn't read certain volumes, which turned out to be the case. So I actually had already read to volume 6. That was all like, you know, familiar territory for me. We have the cute, popular, aspiring model Yamada and her burgeoning, awkward, adorable relationship with her fellow classmate, Kyotaro, and it is so cute. The first volume, if you're going into it, I suggest picking up volume 1 and volume 2. The first volume, especially upon reread, I was like, wow, this is just doesn't feel quite the same as the rest of the series. It's not crazy different or anything, but Kyotaro is way more well, he starts off like he's an aspiring serial killer. Let's just put it that way. He's very weird and a little off-putting. Yamana is cute as hell, like from the get-go. She's a little bit more childish in the beginning, but we also haven't had any real conversations or interactions with her. Just these brief little moments between the two of them. And I do think that build-up is really well done, and it's just so sweet. It's so endearing. They're so cute. And yeah, I don't want to keep going as there's spoilers, but it was nice to actually read volume 7, 8, and 9 and see where they have ended up, as volume 10 will be coming out the end, I think, of February. So I'm excited to read that now that I've caught up. And yeah, they're just super cute. Like, they're weird, they're adorable. It totally fits them. They are so adorable. But and like the more we see of Yamada, the more like she's not the popular girl archetype. She's not childish. I mean, she has her childish moments. They're like only 14, which I think is a little young, but I forget about their age most of the time unless they directly address it, because I just think it's a really good story focused on first love. And yeah, so I mean, they're young, but it's cute. It's really, it's such a cute rom-com. So yeah. Next up, I ended up reading an entirely different one-shot for the one-shot prompt than I had originally planned or even thought of in the, backup. I just decided, well, I'm going to be reading one of two BLs for the LGBTQ plus prompt. So I really want to read a Yuri for my challenge. So I decided to read The Girl I Want Is So Handsome. This is a nice sized one shot, very cute. We have more of a comedic, again, rom-com energy about a hyper first year student and the hot girl jock she's crushing on. I like how instantaneous her crush is. Oh, this girl, she's got a handsome face, a hot body, big boobs. I'm into it. Like, yeah, most of our crushes start based on physical appearance, okay? So like, it's cute and silly and relatable. And of course, she wants to know more about her senpai. She ends up accidentally almost joining the basketball club that Shiki senpai is part of. However, she is very uncoordinated and not at all good at sports, so she ends up becoming the basketball's manager, which is a much better role for her. Poor Hina. She's so cute, but she's so clumsy. And that's what's so endearing about her. Oh my gosh. I could have used a couple more volumes of it, to be honest with you, but for a one shot, for, that short dose of a little romance, I think it does a pretty good job. It handles it well, gives us a couple cute side characters to enjoy. Two of which I really wish we had a spin-off one-shot on. I would love to see that. But yeah, I thought they were really adorable. I will say, to me personally, the art at certain panels in certain places, not throughout the whole thing, just certain panels, especially when they were walking side by side or something, it just felt very stiff and awkward. Which usually is not something I even think of when I'm reading manga. To me, most manga art is just lovely and I just enjoy it and I do not critique it. But there was just a few times where it took me out a bit, going, this looks like a little weak. They could have, I don't know, drawn it in a more fluid way or cuter way like they do the rest of it. But yeah, just took me out a bit, which was weird. But I don't think it's a huge detriment to the one shot. I would definitely reread this again. Just for a dose of cuteness. I just especially love Hina. She is such a cute little fangirl. I love her. But also the senpai is really sweet and adorable, and yeah, enough said. And lastly, for the 7th prompt, the halfway point in my challenge, I read The First Night with the Duke for the anything but manga prompt. And I read volumes 5, 6, and this final volume, volume 7, it did come. Barnes & Noble didn't cancel it on me again. Yes. If you missed that, they canceled volume 6 on me out of nowhere for no reason. And I also got really nervous because, as I've previously mentioned, Net Comics seems to have stopped printing and stopped like being in business. So I was really nervous because there are many series that some from publishers that haven't gone out of business, like Dark Horse, who just stops inexplicably for no reason, just stops printing a series. So many I could name. That's why I have a huge grudge against them as a publisher. Yet they will reprint certain series 15,000 times. But yeah, so I was really impressed, really grateful to Net Comics for actually being able to go through and print this 7th final volume. And yeah, it was just, it was so sweet. It was a perfect way to end the series. I am glad I kind of stopped at 5. I honestly could have stopped at 4 because I think 1 through 3 is their first arc, you know, and then 4 through 6 is more of their second arc. And then actually the series technically does end at volume 6. Is it a spoiler if I say with their wedding? I mean, this is a romance. Like, do you think it ends any other way? But yeah, this 7th volume is actually covering their honeymoon, which I thought was really cute. It just gave us a more established couple to enjoy, and they are now thinking about their future together and what that's going to look like, and you know, just normal regular couple things, because the first 6 volumes are crazy. There's so much going on, and it's like every volume some crazy traumatic, like intense drama would happen. And so it's nice that they just get this nice peaceful volume to just enjoy each other. I loved how Ripley kept falling asleep on the Duke. He wanted a little nighttime dessert and she just so in character. But no, they do get their steam on. We don't really see anything. It's not explicit, but we know it happened. The deed was done. Marriage consummated. And they really are so sweet. Like, they're just the cutest couple. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really I know, like, most romances, they end with a marriage and then they have kids and everything, and so it's not like it's unexpected and stuff, but I like the way that this one is actually just tackling their honeymoon and is talking about kids and their expectations about kids, because like he's a duke, so like he needs heirs, right? And she's kind of like stressed a little bit about it, not like to a huge extent, but like she brings it up, like they have a mature adult conversation about it, and he's like, fuck it, I don't care. And she's like, really? But like, we want to keep the power and the prestige. And he's like, damn straight we do. But like, he doesn't care. Like, if she didn't want to, if they were not on the same page, fuck it, I just want to be with you. And I thought that was beautiful. Mwah, chef's kiss. You can have kids if you want, you can not have kids if you want. That is all I want to see in my romance, is not just, there's a path you must follow. You are a woman, you must breed. No. So I just appreciated that they had a mature conversation about it. He valued her opinion and wasn't just, yeah, you are a woman, you must breed my heirs, you must sire my heirs, you are married to a duke, it's your responsibility. Because that plays a large role in this volume, is responsibility of nobles. So yeah, I loved how that was handled, and I just think it's so cute, and it ends so Disney fairy tale, happily ever after. Just so cute. Yeah, this is definitely a webtoon I will keep and I will reread, and and I can't get enough of how adorable and hilarious our main girl Ripley is. She's too much fun. Every freaking volume, she's too much fun. And the Duke is also really fun, and especially when he gets jealous over a child. Like, calm down, sir. Calm down. But it's so funny, and it's so unserious. But yeah, it's cute. It's just really cute. I've gushed enough about it. So yeah, if you are considering it at all, I would definitely collect it sooner than later, because I don't know how much they are publishing of this series. But yeah, I will mention, like I mentioned very briefly in Monday's Toxic Romances video. Check that out if you haven't already and you want some spicy, explicit toxicity in your romance. Those are some of my favorites, but I do mention this one because I'm talking about Net Comics, and another series that I mentioned for that video is also published by Net Comics, but I do mention it very briefly. It does have a perceived non-consensual start to it, where Ripley gets wasted and the Duke takes advantage of her. It is not, to me, is not 100% confirmed or denied if he doesn't just say, take it to a step which he shouldn't have to begin with. You really need to realize if a girl be wasted, you leave her the fuck alone. But he takes it to a undress in bed level. I think he does this to try and convince her they went all the way, and to trick her into being like, okay, well, you know, to me, so you gotta be my girl now, because that's the way things are. Which isn't great either in and of itself. So either way, it's toxic. So they do start on a little bit of a toxic note, but other than that, I think it's so sweet. So if you don't mind like a little bit of a gray area in the beginning of the romance, I think it's like past that point, it's so sweet. It's so pure. Their romance is one for the ages, in my opinion. It's just so well done. It's so adorable. So yeah, but I did want to put that little disclaimer out there in case anyone does not even want to like mess with that, because I understand we all have like our things we don't like, our icks, our triggers. So yeah, and again, it could just be me trying to look at it like a slightly more favorable light. But either way, it's not great. It's not a great start, not a great healthy start to a relationship. But they more than make up for it, in my opinion, in being the cutest couple ever. And those are my first 7 prompts complete for my 14 Reads to Love challenge. I mean, we're only like at the halfway point of February, so if you want to quickly jump on the challenge, I would love to have you. Feel free to post and tag me over on Instagram. I've been loving seeing people's posts, and definitely have added a few more romance and other manga that I've seen people post about on my wish list. But yeah, and let me know what romances you have picked for these prompts if you're doing the challenge down below, or what ones you think fit the prompts, like without having to read. You know, go for it. Who's a cute couple? What's a romance featuring adults that you would recommend? I definitely always am on the hunt for more romance featuring adults, so definitely would love to hear any and all suggestions and recommendations on that particular prompt. But yeah, rom-com or any of the other ones that you want to share. And yeah, that'll do it. Hope to see you next time. Until then, bye!